What's up, guys? How we doing? Tuesday night here. Josh Davis, Philly Special. You know what it is. Shout out to all y'all in the chat, too. By the way, let me know where you're watching from. I'll give you a quick shout out. But appreciate everybody just coming and hanging out. Figured we'd do a little Eagles talk. I know I don't do this too often, but some of y'all know, but just as a reminder, I guess, I'm expecting a little one very soon. My wife is expecting any day now. So probably gonna like die down the shows a little bit with the schedule and stuff. So figured, hey, let's just open up, do a live show. Haven't actually had baby number two, so girl number two also. But yeah, just hop on here, chat birds. But yeah, let me know where you guys are watching from. Question though, Vastaflow Josh, let's go. What's up, man? Appreciate that. Question for everybody, seriously, because I've been trying to process, right? Like this whole, what is it? Like this last 6 weeks, 6 games. I don't think that we're in a great spot naturally. But like the Giants game coming off of that, I know that the speculation is like, is Sirianni going to get fired? Should he be fired? How quickly? Is he on the hot seat? I don't think that you could really argue too much that he's on the hot seat. Again, we can get into that. Curious to hear you guys' thoughts. But as far as this collapse, I think we've all seen, or a lot of us have seen, comments of it being an epic collapse. How terrible it's been on all sides of the ball. The coaching, AJ standing up for the coaches, whether it was true, whether he was being legit with it or he was just making stuff up, who cares? But he was doing that, backing the coaches, as a lot of the guys have been doing. And then we got just losing 5 out of 6 games is needless to say not good, right? So you're I think the only second team in NFL history to start out 10-1 and not get to 12 wins. I think that the 86 Jets, if I'm thinking correctly, I think I saw that stat. It's only one other team, but that's not good. We know that. At 10-1, we were like seeing a lot of flaws, but it wasn't like at the magnitude, I guess, of where we are now. Maybe we should have seen it coming. But you go through a gauntlet, a stretch of games, everything else. But like, is this the most epic, or maybe the biggest collapse in NFL history, or certainly towards the top? Let me just preface it with that. I know we made the playoffs, so to clarify that question first, I'm not saying like, compared to others, because I know there's teams that didn't make the playoffs, and even the Jaguars did not make the playoffs. They lost, I think, 5 of their last 6, right? So I get that, but it's like in terms of the expectations, right? Because we had coming into it, like got a Super Bowl, getting a Super Bowl appearance, and Kelce coming back, and all the offense, full force, and we got a draft pick, Jalen Carter. We got some additions through free agency, feeling hype about the team. And then the way that it has just kind of cataclysmically just falling off a cliff. I don't know. It's not even like just a slow regression. It was hey, we're 10-1, and then, oh my gosh, what are we doing? Now I know that there's a potential there, but just curious to hear you guys' thoughts. What do we think? Where are we at now? All right, let's get to some of the shout outs though. Again, appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. You guys are the best. Donovan Seward, watching from Cincinnati, Ohio. There you go. What's up? All right. William Belita. Hey Josh, how's your day been? It's been good. It's been all right. Weather's crazy in Texas. It's not the wind is ridiculous. I'm in Dallas again. For people that don't know, I'm in Dallas, but the wind is ridiculous, and I think it's supposed to get down to 0 on like Saturday or Sunday, whatever that is. But China, I believe, I love the positivity. I mean, I love the optimism. I wouldn't say that like I don't believe, but can I be somewhere in the middle? I don't know if it's like in between an I don't believe or I believe. That's probably kind of conflicting statements there. But I don't know. There's so many things about this team. I know we all know that. I appreciate all the congrats from everybody about baby girl too. Any day. I may even have to break off this live stream too. Like we'd be in the middle of a show here and get a text. So if you see me constantly looking down, I'm making sure wife's not saying, hey, it's happening. So Justin Matthews, what's up, man? Watching from OKC. There you go. You know what I'm talking about with this weather and the wind. My brother actually had to divert his flight. He was coming in last night and had to go to OKC to get home. Let's see here. China, Josh, you definitely give girl dad vibes. I appreciate that. Being a girl dad is the absolute best. That is That is one of the biggest blessings. I never thought I would enjoy it as much as I do, but it is awesome. All right, let's get to some of the comments though. I know we're asking epic collapse. What do we think about that? Philly Sports Hustle, Josh, you're doing a great job. Appreciate it. Yanni Snap, let's see. Do you really think the Eagles are going to lose to the Buccaneers? I mean, it's tough. It's really tough because you could certainly make a case either way, right? I mean, like, I guess, and I'll throw up a graphic here too to maybe clarify, but like, okay, here is the week 3 matchup, right? We all know that we played the Bucs. We took it to them 25-11. Desai showed up. That defense was dominant. I mean, look at the total yards there. 472 for the Birds, 174 for the Bucs. I mean, that tells you all you need to know. Sure, we had the 2 turnovers. Like, we were still having struggles even back then with turnovers. That's just kind of a given. But, like, over 200 yards rushing. DeAndre Swift, dominant. Like, that's what you want. And then you hold them to 41 rushing yards. We were, I think, still the number one rushing defense at that point, and 133 passing yards. Again, I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. We realize how dominant that Monday Night Football game was. Kind of ironic that we're playing again Monday Night Football against the Bucs, but I really don't know. I want to say yes. I want to say that we could win against the Bucs. We can, but I want to say that we will. I just don't know. Like, it's one of those that I go back and forth on because the Bucs have been much better than whenever we play them, at least on the defensive side. They struggle. They only beat the Carolina Panthers 9-0. So what are you doing on the offensive side? I get that argument, but the Bucs are third highest blitz rate. So let's first off put that out there, right? So we know the Eagles do not handle the blitz well. Jalen does not handle the blitz well. He doesn't get any help. Heck, they're running go routes whenever you got a cover 0 look from the Bucs, but that's not the best, recipe for success. And then you also look at the Bucs defense has been playing fairly well. I want to say that they're second. I had the graphic and I lost it, but I think that they're second in terms of defensive efficiency since week 13 in the NFL. So, or maybe points per game. Sorry, I may be getting that incorrect, but it's second in one of those. I know those are very different, but second in the NFL. And then for the Eagles defense, we know, but we're literally 31st in the NFL in points per game. So I don't know. Where are you guys at? Or do we have some optimism? Do we think that we're going to beat the Bucs? We're 3-point favorites, if you believe that. I feel like a +3 taking the Bucs. It's not the worst bet, unfortunately. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Neil C., what's up? Says, why would the Eagles get rid of a coach that was just in the bowl? It's a good question. Like, it's idiotic to me if you're looking at it just from like 30,000 foot view, no context, right? Like, if you just say you made it to the Super Bowl, why are you going to get rid of him? It's idiotic. That would be stupid. However, it's the body of work and the common denominator. I mean, every single time that we go through and you look and say, hey, whose fault is it? Who's blamed? Like, what are the issues with this team, this offensive and defensive, right? I mean, let's start with the offense first. It's Sirianni's offense. Like, there's no question it's Sirianni's offense. And you can go look up anything that you want to. Brett Coleman did the best job that I saw, I think, out there of breaking it down, talking about what the Eagles' struggles are. And go look up the video. It's literally, I think it's titled "The Eagles Run a High School Offense." I think that's the title of it. But Brett Coleman has it. Incredible breakdown of it. It's literally like 3 different plays that the Eagles are going to run. And I and my dog could tell you what play the Eagles are going to run next, right? Because we every single time you see an alignment and you're like, hey, that's what they're going to go with. There's no question. There is no question what the Eagles are going to do out there. And that's fine. Like, to a certain extent, that's fine because you have great playmakers. The problem is that you look at where we are in efficiency, and you should be a top 3 offense. I've said this entire season. It's just gotten worse, but it's like with other teams, you could be all right with, hey, we're middle of the pack. You can't do that with the playmakers that we have. And to me, Jalen is not... I know that the comments will probably come of, hey, Jalen's regressing. It's Jalen's fault. Jalen deserves some of the blame, but they're not putting him in good spots. I'm sorry. You look at other quarterbacks that get put in good spots versus negative ones, like a Brock Purdy. Purdy's making plays, but Purdy is not the quarterback at all. If you put him in this Eagles offense and say, hey, try to run what the lack of offense that we have, he's looked terrible. He's going to be way worse than Jalen. So it comes down to scheme, and in the NFL, everybody adapts, obviously, or most people adapt. But then you got Nick Sirianni, who refuses to run motion, who refuses to do anything creative really, and keep the basics the same. It's like it's a high school offense. So go look up that video if you haven't seen it. Highly encourage you to go check it out. Brett does a great job, and it also kind of references too. Ben Solak of the Ringer had been mentioning the same things, essentially saying like, "Hey, are the Eagles ruining Jalen Hurts?" I think possibly. Like, I don't think that he's ruined. So let me just preface it with that. He's not ruined. Jalen is going to get back to the level. It's going to get fixed. I just don't think it's going to be with this. It's not going to be with these coordinators in my mind. And I don't know if it's going to be with Sirianni. Like, I've been a big fan of Sirianni, but like, I don't know if he's it, man. And I get it because it's hard to say that for a coach who went to the Super Bowl. But as we've seen, I mean, I didn't think that Doug Peterson would be out as quickly as he was, but it made a good point. And then all of a sudden you get Nick and he's done what you hoped for the most part until this season, right? You got to a Super Bowl. But then, then the question also comes out to like, is it Sirianni's fault? Is it the behind the scenes, right? Is he just the yes man and it's a Howie and Jeffrey show that are just asking him or telling him what to do? Possibly. Appreciate Andrew Meyer, about to be a girl dad in 1 month. Congrats, man. Hey, congrats to you. There you go. All right, depressed Eagles fan here says, we kept saying we bend but don't break, and we finally broke. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. And going to the thing with the Nick question, right? Because we got Philly Sports Hustle. It's time to cut Nick loose. There are too many good replacements out there. There's a couple, and we can get into like who you guys might want as far as the head coach, coordinators. The issue with Nick too, because we mentioned the offense, that's its own thing. But defensively, right? I mean, he made the decision. It's his decision, unless it was Howie's or Jeffrey's. But like, it was his decision supposedly to say, "Hey, Desai, you're not it. You're not it. We're gonna put Matt Patricia in there, and we're going to ride this thing out." Now, Sirianni said, too, in the presser, if people haven't been paying attention or watching, but he said in the presser after the game against the Giants, or I guess maybe been the one yesterday, but he said that there's not going to be any changes to play calling. So you're sticking with it, right, wrong, or indifferent, how bad it's been, sticking with play calling, and Patricia's going to be on the defense. Brian Johnson's going to be on offense. We'll see what we can do in Tampa. But he chose to make that decision to switch to Matt Patricia. And granted, I think we all know Desai was not the best answer, or not an answer, period, because you allow, 6 straight touchdowns against the Niners. You get just absolutely destroyed against the Cowboys. You have just terrible showings. Like, we all saw that. But it's gotten worse. And so, you're kind of having to now just lie in the bed that you made and just say, like, hey, you know what? This is Patricia. And it was probably the wrong move, but he's got to sit there and do that. And also, for those that didn't catch the report, Jeff McClain has said that Desai is most likely not returning to the Eagles. I don't know if that's necessarily a riveting scoop or if it's just kind of a given, because I think we could all assess, like, if you were demoted, fired, whatever you want to call it, you're probably not coming back, right? Like, even if Sirianni were to say, which I don't think that he would, but even if Sirianni said after the season, like, hey, you want to coach the defense? Like, you're probably not going to do that. I don't know. I wouldn't want to. Like, heck, if your boss, fired you or demoted you, and then you worked there for 4 or 5 months, if it's me, I'm looking for another job. But like, are you saying like, oh, hey, maybe boss has faith in me after they just let some other person take over and they did a worse job? Like, that'd be the writings on the wall. But I think you need to change anyway. So I don't know that decides the answer there. But for what it's worth, you got Patricia. He's going to be in during the playoffs. Hopefully that changes something. But we've said it every single week, or hopefully he changes something, I should say. But we've said that every week. We don't get changes. Iron Gamer, what's up? Says Eagles should run. Yeah, they should. Threw up the graphic a second ago. But again, 201 rushing yards, week 3 against the Bucs. I don't think that we're going to get that, but you got to keep going with it. Depressed Eagles fans, Swift in the O-line is the key to the game. Yep. without question. I'm right there with you. Let me get to the super chat real quick too. Vasaflow. Let's see here. It is. They just don't fight for each other. No one stepped up for Burntberry against San Francisco. Giants hit Jalen and no one fought back. I know if someone did fight, it would have been a penalty, but it shows guts. Yeah, and it's a good point. What do you guys think? That's a really good point with the whole Burntberry too. I know that we keep calling him that, but like, man, this talking about falling off a cliff. I feel bad for the guy, but what a rough season. But yeah, in the San Francisco game, yeah, they're shoving him before the game. I'm all right with like extracurricular to a certain extent, but yeah, in those instances there, like when you're struggling, when you got a little physicality and you've lacked physicality for several weeks, get into a shoving match, get a 15-yard penalty. Like maybe I'm wrong in that logic there, but like to me, I'd say, you know what, get out there, do something, change something up, because you need to for the morale of this team. You need to for the toughness of this team. You don't have the toughness that we once saw, and you're getting pushed around, shoved around, and the coaches aren't helping you. Sure, they're not putting you in the right spots, but still, this is like a personality issue. This is a characteristic of the team that, I mean, you do have leaders without a doubt, but for some reason, it's just a different morale, different personality, and that's why I say I think it comes back to the coaches. Like most of the players, I know you lost a couple, sure. TJ Edwards was a massive loss, huge, monumental loss. Howie, I think, has reached the limit or surpassed it of devaluing linebackers, and that's going to cost you. It already has cost you. You lost to C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That's a big deal, no doubt. But, like, for the most part, I mean, your core guys are intact. Like, it shouldn't change that drastically for the locker room. That's why I say I feel like it's a lack of confidence, because whenever anybody lacks confidence, like I know for me personally, like if I'm lacking confidence, then I'm going to kind of like tiptoe through the situation, right? Because I'm not going to be too sure of like, yeah, I don't know. Like, you know, am I going to show a lot of emotion here? I'm thinking too much. Like there's just the overanalyzing, like all that's going to be going through my head. So then, you know, you also have some pushing and shoving. It's like, you know, I don't know. But there just seemed to be a different feel with the team. And it all comes back to, I mean, even Kelce said it in the presser after the game, right? He said, it all starts with a head coach. Now, he defended Nick, and kudos to him for doing that. I know that you're always going to stand up for. That's what Kelce does, and that's a leader. I'm fine with, you know what, you say the PC thing during the pressers, you say the right thing publicly, whatever, but they got to get things figured out. And it's a locker room issue as far as Sirianni goes, as far as the coaches go. Emmanuel Acho, I had it on my show a couple days ago, but he was breaking down just the difference of the team and where the issues do lie. And we all see it, but he just did a great job as far as just the defense dropping Hassan Reddick into coverage, dropping Josh Sweat into coverage. You're not putting the guys in spots to make plays, and it really shows because they're lacking that confidence. So let's see. Let's get to a couple other chats here. Lost the place, but all right, we got to go get Ed Reed for DC. Yeah, well, I don't know. I think there's other better idea for DC. We'll get into those here in a second too. I like the dude from Michigan. I like Minter. Let's see. We got one from Neil. I agree. The screenplays need to go. Yeah, there's a lot of those. Let's see. Dilpreet Singh and removing Sirianni. Are the Eagles going to be comfortable with their different coach? Well, that'd be the idea. I mean, the assumption is that if you're going to get rid of Sirianni, then there's too much uncomfortableness to keep going. So you say like, all right, well, we're going to try to see if we get somebody new, and maybe things change. Obviously, that's why you do make the change. But they've said it every single week. I mean, it goes down to like the different layers of this thing. But like you say, every single week, it's like ad nauseum. We all say it, like the live shows, the streams, the comment section. Like I know, and we're all there, but it's like, hey, we got to fix things. It's on me. Like I'll take ownership. You know, they're saying the right things for the most part, but it's just a broken record. Like it's time and time and time again. There's no actual change. So again, is Sirianni on the hot seat? For sure. Should Sirianni be fired? Well, that's an argument that seems to be kind of split. I think he's coaching for his job. I really do. It might be insane to say because you made it to the Super Bowl. I think that he's coaching for his job. Let's get to a couple other super chats here. Let's go. Simo, appreciate the $1 super chat. I didn't get a comment here, but throw up another comment. I'll get to it. Got one from Donovan Seward here. Says, I hope we get blown out in Tampa. All these coaches deserve to go and don't deserve a deep playoff run. Protect the talent. Man, that's tough. Like, I mean, I get some of the logic there. Like, if you do get blown out, then it might come down to what the players want, right? Because, like, if the players are done with these coaches, I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful for a playoff run. I think most of us are. You never want to go into playoffs and say, well, I hope that we get beat in most scenarios. Like, I still would I'd love it. Hey, maybe you're playing possum. Does anybody believe that, though? Like, Chad Ochocinco, he's of the mindset of, like, nah, the Eagles know what they're doing. He said, what was it? I think I saw the clip on Twitter, but he was saying that he's got faith. Like, trust the Eagles are going to show up. It's going to be a different team in the playoffs. Like, now it's ready to play. Dallas Goedert even alluded to the fact that, like, maybe we got a little bit lackadaisical, lazy, or complacent maybe after clinching a playoff spot. I don't know that I buy that. Like, I love DG, but, bro, I'm sorry. You're telling me, like, after you clinch playoffs with Dallas on your heels, you're just going to be like, we're good. We'll give them the division if they want it. It's not a big deal. No one's won it back-to-back since 2004, but you can have it. Like, that just, I'm not buying that. But yes, like, if you don't win against Tampa, man, that seat gets much warmer for Sirianni. As hot as it is, that gets scalding. I mean, I don't know if he could survive it. Certainly if you get blown out. Like, if you get another performance like you got against New York, I'm sorry, I don't think that he survives. I think he's gone. And even if it's a close game and you lose, that may be enough. I do agree, though. You have to protect the talent. I think from that side, you're good. Like, you got to shore up things on the defensive side. Yeah, there's a couple pieces you need to add. You need to make some acquisitions via free agency, via the draft. But for the most part, like, there's guys that we have that should be making plays, like we were talking about. Like, you've got the guys, you just need the play callers and people that are going to put them in the right spots. Let's get to a couple other here. Yeah, Spa City Chop. That was Shane, as you can see now. Yep. That was Shane. Shane Steichen, man, dude, I thought he was good, but, like, I don't know. Maybe I just didn't realize how good he was. Like, you don't know what you have till you lose it, right? You see how much better it was with him than without, and a play caller. But you also see how much he was probably being hampered by Sirianni too. Like, look at how much he was, or how little he was doing motion. The dude was near the bottom in the league, and now this year, what was it, top third for the Colts in motion? So, I mean, that tells me everything I need to know of. So Shane believed in motion, but maybe Sirianni was like, let's not run that too much. Man, would love to have Shane still. Philly Sports Hustle, Josh, do you have merch? I do not, unfortunately, not yet. Eventually, I've thought about it, but that's probably off season. Just those types of things take a little bit more time, especially with baby number 2 on the way. So trying to crank out as much content and everything else. But there are plans. Rest assured, there are plans for some merch. So once we get that going, we'll be sure to let you guys know. Let's see, Shaquille here. I honestly think Jalen not being 100% healthy until the last maybe couple weeks changed the rhythm and style of this offense when he is not a running threat. Yeah, I mean, I could see that for sure. Like, when he's not running, they're more dynamic without a doubt. Like, I think we all see that. We all know that. Jalen's that's the problem. I think is, again, you rely so much on 3 or 4 plays, and there's not a lot of variance there, that if a very vital piece of your offense in Jalen running goes down, then you can't really adjust too much. And I don't know if it was because Jalen, like, for a brief period, Jalen was in there. kind of throwing better, right? Like after he got injured, I think it was the Miami game, that it's like, man, okay, hey, the Eagles offense, like they can't run with Jalen, but he's throwing the ball pretty well. But I don't know if that was a play calling part or if just defenses, it took a little bit to adjust and they go, oh, hey, maybe we need to kind of dictate where they're going to go with the ball. And then they changed it. But for some reason, it's continued to get worse, as we all know. And that's been regardless of the schedule. Because for a little bit, I was arguing like, well, it's the gauntlet, so it's not going to be as great of stats. You could see if they dip a little bit. But, bro, you just lost to the Giants. I know it was just one half, but you lost to the Giants and the Cardinals. It's just there are no words. There are really no words. Bird's eye view. We need a call-in show, my man. That's a great idea. Actually, we'll do one of those. I need to figure. I'm learning. You guys know this. Like I started 10 months ago. I've had a blast. Appreciate you guys. Y'all are the best. This is the most fun and most frustrating and most lots of other things and emotion seasons for the Eagles that I've had. But you guys have made it incredible. So I'm figuring that out. But yes, we will do that soon. We got to get that scheduled. So keep an eye out. But we will definitely do that. Let's see, China here. I don't think Nick is a problem either. He just takes majority of the blame when he talks to the press. Okay. I mean, I totally agree that he takes the blame when he talks to the press. I think there's lots of times it's frustrating that the things that he says, for sure. But I think it's scheme wise. Like if it's up to him, the coordinator's got to go. At a minimum. Even if Nick doesn't lose his job, coordinator's got to go. BJ can't call an offense, and we already know about the defense, whether it's Desai or Patricia, either one, not good enough by any stretch of the imagination. Jessica Freer, there's some positivity for you. Hey, here's a good thing. We get Slay back. Yep. Slay's coming back. Can he save enough for the defense? I don't know. Hopefully. The good part is too, I mean, like on the health side, right? Like Jalen hurt his finger dislocation. Really hated seeing that on TV as much as they showed. I'm a little squeamish for injury sometimes, so I was like, oh man. But he didn't fracture it. Reports are he didn't fracture it, so it's just going to affect the grip strength, which is like, all right, that's not the worst news. But it's going to affect the deep ball, and that's a lot of what this offense is predicated on, as we know. So I'm like, let's see how that affects. It might be a good thing, actually, because we don't have an answer for the blitz. So now you're going to say, well, hey, we have to. We are dictating now, or dictated to us based on Jalen's injury, that we have to throw it shorter. So maybe you get an answer for the blitz. You have some hot routes. What a thought. Get some hot routes against the blitz. On the blitz notion, though, Iron Gamer says, why don't we blitz? I think there's so many issues with this team already that it's like a blitz is just going to make it that much easier. We do blitz some. I mean, I know that everybody knows that, but it's like when we blitz, we just make it easier for them because they're the delayed blitzes that aren't getting home, and teams know. I think our defense is so bad right now that's why you're seeing the ball get out quickly. I know that our D-line can sometimes get pressure, so sure, that might, advocate a little bit more towards an offense saying, hey, let's get the ball out quick. Let's just, take advantage of what we got. I think it's so easy that they don't have to do anything else besides, hey, quick drop, get it out, because we know where the open spot's going to be. And blitzing's just going to make it that much worse. Okay, I appreciate some of the support, but let's be nice to some of the other people, guys. Come on. Andrew Nathan, it's unbelievable that people want this coaching staff gone after being in a Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I get it. It's just, it's tough, man. I mean, I've been a big Sirianni fan, like for a while. I think, after his introductory presser, I was like, yeah, I don't know about this dude, but like he won me over fairly quickly. When you start seeing the players play to the level that they have played, and I know the execution is the execution's on the players, but I know that putting them in the spots is on the coaches. It just makes me question. Like I'm sitting there going like, what in the world is going on? All right, let's get to several more of these comments. I missed a couple super chats, so let me make sure and get those. All right, we got here. Simo says, I don't know if I can add this correctly. Here we go. It'd be most hilarious thing to see the Birds win and the Cowgirls lose in the first round. But hey, a man can dream, right? LOL. You could dream. I'd love it. I mean, it wouldn't be like the most shocking thing, I guess, because we have seen and we know that the Cowboys, most of the time, the Cowboys are who we thought they were. So despite as well as they may be playing at times, or as much as they may constantly say it's our year, and living in Dallas like I do, being in Cowboys country, you hear it quite a bit. But it's possible. There's lots of concerns, like we're saying, but there's still some reason to be optimistic. Again, we're going back to the Tampa game, but like they played well. They played well in week 3. It's been a long time since then, but if you can somehow find a flow, and Brandon Graham, I mean, he believes it. He's been saying it for a while, but he believes that there's going to be a shot. He said, hey, we got that dog mentality. Like, even though technically the Birds are 3-point favorites for the game, he's like, we're underdogs. Like, we have a target on our back as far as like people predicting us to be bounced early and not be able to take advantage of anything. And we've had all these struggles. You might be able to. Going back to the 86 Jets, I talked about it at the Open, but like they started out 10-1. It's a long time ago in 86, but they started out 10-1, lost their last, I think, 4 games or 5 games. I think it was the last 5 games. Ended up beating the Chiefs, blew out the Chiefs, in fact, in the first round, and then lost in double overtime to Cleveland. So, it's the NFL. It's any given day, but the body of work that we've seen, it just leaves me questioning if we're going to get there. Let's see, another super chat here. Vasaflow. Josh, do you get as mad as us hearing Nick repeat the same things these last few weeks during press conferences? He is driving me nuts. Bro, that is, yes, to answer your question, absolutely. That is one of the hardest things, I'm not going to lie, about like, because you guys know, those that follow the channel know that like most days there is a regular show that comes out. So I do a long form show. It's like chopping it up. And so not only do I get to hear it like during the live presser, but then it's going back through and editing and like being like, okay, I'm going to use that clip, and oh, maybe I'm not going to use this one. So I probably hear every single press conference about 8 times. So yes, even if it was good stuff, I would be probably tired of it. But at this point, I don't know. Like, my wife can tell whenever I've been listening to a Sirianni press conference, because I will come out of my study here and then she's like, oh gosh, what is it? I'm like, oh, it's just, another Sirianni presser. But what do you expect? Got another super chat here. Let's see. Is it Saletta or Salita? I'm not maybe saying that correctly, but Nick's ego and pride needs to be checked because it's throwing off the dynamic. The players need a B12 shot of Brian Dawkins' energy for being aggressive. Love that. Heck yeah. What a shot of anything to get close to Brian Dawkins. And maybe some of the same tackling too. My goodness. I'm sure you guys saw it, but it was all over Twitter or X. We're calling it X these days. I always say Twitter. I'm sure you guys saw it. The lack of tackling and accountability and everything else. It was absolutely abysmal. Let me see if I can throw this up here. I think I could find it. See if I can. There's one in particular, Bradley Roby. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Please tell me I can find it real quick. Here we go. All right. There you go. There's a little Bradley Roby tackle whenever this one loads here or goes back and restarts. But I think this sums it up, how the defensive tackling and everything else. We do need a shot of B12 energy, of B12 Brian Dawkins energy. But whatever that tackling attempt is right there, I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. Yeah. Don't know what that is. There's bad and then there's that. And I just, there's no excuses. It's all over the place. So again, like that's not a coaching, it may be a coaching thing because you need the fundamentals, but like that's not a coaching thing. That is a player issue of like basic tackling fundamentals, basic tackling techniques. That almost looked like one of those where you're just like lunging in there to say like I was kind of there showing some effort, but I wasn't really. I was hoping that Nicholas Morrow, you were going to make the tackle. But you can't fault the coaches. Not on that one. Now, they probably didn't put him in the right spot, but you still can't fault him there. All right, let's keep going here. Let's see. I got some comments. Could easily do that in a Discord. Okay, yeah. We're talking about call-in show. So I will work on that. I will. China says, can't believe you've been at for 10 months. I know time's flown by. It's like it feels kind of long in a way, but still is also really, really short. It's kind of weird how that works. Pete Nathan, what's up? Predictions here for the score. Eagles 29, Bucs 23 Monday night. I would love that. I don't know. I haven't really fully gone with the predictions yet, but oh boy, I think I've predicted just about Eagles winning every single game. So obviously I've been wrong a number of times, but man, I don't know. Maybe I need to just predict the Bucs will win and then the Eagles will prove me wrong. I'm on a, what is it? I've lost 6 straight. I will say that. Like usually I'm probably a sucker for punishment, but usually I take the spread. So I'm not going to lie. I've gone 0-6 the last 6 games of the Eagles. Because it was one of those where it's like, I'm confident, like maybe the last 2. And then after that, I was like, well, they're going to bounce back. They're going to bounce back. They're going to bounce back. And so we're 0-6 now. They got to cover 1, surely. Andrew says, sounds like Josh wants him gone. I think we're talking about Sirianni. I don't know. That's why I said he's coaching for his job. Like I'm. That's probably bad because I'm going to ride the fence. But like I'm definitely leaning towards right now. Like Sirianni probably needs to go. Maybe they change stuff though. They could get on a run in the playoffs and find some sort of form and get going. And this team, you have more buy-in and you feel like the group's there. But the question still comes back to like, what is Jeffrey Lurie seeing and how much does he trust in Sirianni's process and that he still has the locker room and that the players, because it's not only like what the players are saying, like that's important, but a lot of times, especially to the press, I get it. You're going to say stuff that just like is very basic or very, I don't know, a canned response, right? Because you're not going to ruffle any feathers and you're just saying the right stuff. So that's cool. But like body language wise, all of us have seen it. All of us have lived through several groups and several coaching staffs where it's like, okay, writing's on the wall, you're going to start losing it. Now, again, like from a stats wise or record wise or history, I get that his winning percentage is the highest and it's through the roof and we went to the Super Bowl and everything else, but it's more of like the feel to me where I'm saying like, I think he is. I think he's coaching for his job. D Dragon, what's up? Says, hey Josh, how's it going? See, China says they preach being physical and sticking to fundamentals all season, and all the above has been missing. That's sad. It really is. Speaking of that, did you guys see the Javon Hargrave going at Sirianni's practices? I'm sure most of y'all did, but Javon's, let's see if, where was one of those clips? Javon was basically saying the 49ers practices are much more physical. Let me get the exact quote here. Here we go. I'll throw it up. I can't get audio looped in with this one, but basically, I mean, yeah, Javon Hargrave, you see it there. He says, it's like how people compare the Golden State culture and Miami Heat. Over here, it's the Miami Heat. Over there, it's Golden State. Over there, it's chill, relaxed. Over here, nah, it's work. So, and saying practices are extremely harder, much more demanding than the Eagles. I don't know. That's You never like to see that, never like to hear it, but you'd believe it, right? From what we've seen the last several weeks. It's not a stretch of the imagination at all. That's anyone who's barely watched football in their life could turn on those games and see, oh, what's the difference in these? Well, one team is a lot more physical. And it maybe does come down to the practices. Although it made me think of immediately, like if you guys have seen or go back and watch on the unscripted versions of the Eagles YouTube channel, I can't think of what the name of that one is. It's the first one after the Super Bowl. So like the first one to kind of start this season, like it had Jalen Carter and the rookies and Sirianni talking to him and everything else. And he's like, hey, make no mistake. He's like, we may not play as much, practice as much, but when you're out there, we're gonna practice our ass off. Like he's making it sound like it's gonna be brutal, and he's preached it. But Javon Hargrave says that apparently it's extremely harder. I don't know. Sometimes people are just talking, but there's a lot that goes back and forth there. And if you look at the eye test, it does make me wonder, it does make me question, like, is that legit? Let's see here. Will Bradbury be on the team next year? From Trent. Probably. I don't know that you're gonna do anything with his contract. Like you might be able to. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not super well versed in the outs of the contract and how they could maneuver it. I'm sure there's a way, but you probably take a cap hit in some form or fashion. But unless he can find the fountain of youth and just resurrect his career or something, like I don't know. Mason McCrae, what's up? Says, I wish we never teased for Byard, or I guess traded for Byard or signed Leonard. Both of them are such disappointing. Yeah, that's I thought Byard was going to do much better for sure. I agree with you. I know that he had not been like at the all-pro level of a sense. Leonard to me is one of those is like, I didn't mind it because, again, you need some depth and, like, you have some veteran presence. I don't know that my expectations were super high. So, like, yeah, he's not done great. But to me, it was like one of those that's not going to be earth-shattering one way or another whenever he came in. But Byard, to me, I agree. I'm right there with you. Like, that one felt like he's going to solidify the safety spot. Like, you don't have to worry. You've got him, Reed Blankenship back there. But, I mean, dude's been just kind of lost, sadly. And again, it's not all his fault, but there are parts of it for sure that are his fault. It's combination. We probably won't know the truth again until like this offseason. Then you'll start having people talk more about it, or things get leaked maybe of how bad it was, whose fault it might have been, things like that. But yeah, I was hopeful. Not gonna lie, I was hopeful for the defense as a whole to be much better. Hopefully we get it. You got one more game. It's not over completely. Let's see here. Pete says if they decide to keep Nick, bring in Frank Reich as OC and Mike Caldwell as DC, that would be some positivity for the Birds going forward. Yeah. What are people's thoughts in the chats? Let me know on that one. I'm out on Frank Reich. I understand some of the thought on it. I'm out on it. I think there's other options that I would want to see. I know that Frank had Carolina, so that's not a great litmus test, maybe, because there's not as much to work with on that side. And sure, he was here previously, he did good, but I don't know. Past two stops like Indy didn't really impress me at that point, and then the same thing with Carolina. And I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's like I don't know if hiring someone that you know and are familiar with is a good thing in this scenario. As crazy as that may sound, because I know that like the world, like I used to be a recruiter, so for people that don't know that, like I hired people for a living. So it's like, like referrals, you're like 15 times more likely to land a job through all that, and I get it, and you can proven track record, you know what they're about, all that. That there's benefits to it, but it's like it feels like we're stuck in, like we were talking about, stuck in a very telegraphed, very dictated offense. You're going to get the basic, I don't know, basic similarities of what we've already seen. So you change things up possibly. Yeah, you get a little more RPO maybe. But I don't know. I'm out on Reich. Now, if you were to ask me who I want for OC, like, I don't know 100%. I haven't dug into it fully. But hey, one person who has, shout out to Anthony. What's up, man? Hello, everybody who is ready for mock draft season. I mean, yeah, like that's a positive spin, I guess. Holding out hope that we can do something in the playoffs. If we can somehow go on a run, right? Like we win. I will say, I think that one of those games is going to be an upset. Let me see if I can get the bracket here so it's easier for people to see it. Let's put that up there. There we go. Let's remove that. By the way, I just put up Anthony, but if you're out there, go follow Anthony. We're gonna have some draft coverage. So hang on, let me throw this. I'm confusing everybody. Yeah, go follow Anthony on X. It's Outside the Birds. You guys are probably already following him, but if you're not, go follow Anthony. You got some great content. We're gonna have some really cool stuff throughout the draft coverage or before the draft, mock drafts. And I don't know for sure if Anthony is going to the Senior Bowl yet. He was planning on doing it, but if he does, we're going to get some extra coverage from that too. So be sure to subscribe, stay tuned in for that. Excited about it. But yes, first things first, we're not officially done. So now let me throw that up there. Here we go. Playoff seedings, playoff schedule. I don't know where you guys are at, but like I really feel like there's going to be one upset in either the Rams beating Detroit or Green Bay beating Dallas. Now, I should say that my wife is from Wisconsin, and so she's a cheesehead, and her whole family are cheeseheads. So, like, I would be rooting for Green Bay regardless of who they're playing, unless it was the Eagles, of course, obviously. But it'd be awesome if Green Bay could beat Dallas. I don't know if that's going to happen. Like, I feel like it's not impossible, but I feel like it's more likely if I'm going to pick an upset, I think it might be LA over Detroit. But if that happens, then, hey, you know what? We're not going to San Francisco anymore. Right? Because you got LA. If they beat Detroit, they're a lower seed. They go to San Fran. And then, assuming Dallas did beat Green Bay, then you got Eagles going to Dallas in my backyard. By the way, I'm not going to that game if they do. I used to be undefeated at AT&T and then went this season, and nope, not doing that again. That didn't work. We'll stay home. We'll stay home and stream the game. But yeah, that's it's possible. I don't know that you're gonna host for sure, but it's not impossible either that you could host if Green Bay and the Rams were to win. Then all of a sudden you got a home game. But that's too crazy. That's not happening. Appreciate it from In. I didn't get a name on that, but just In. Congratulations, Josh. Thank you. Appreciate that. Any day now. Still no text. I was checking for my wife, but still no text. So she is not officially in labor yet. But she is expecting any day now. So for those that are just hopping on and joining or don't know, we will maybe not have as many shows in the coming days, but trying to do this live stream. As K2 Dude says, where's Thomas? Thomas is we're gonna do the live show tomorrow. I'm starting this to try to do some more lives more frequently because, again, like I mentioned, wife is expecting any day now, which means probably less actual shows. I don't know how I'll be able to get out as many shows as I have been, so figured I'll start doing a little bit more live. Just hop on, talk birds, update on news, info, questions, a little more interactions too, because I always love hanging out. But yeah, we're definitely going to be Wednesday. So tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern, we will chat some more stuff, updated on news. We'll probably have an injury report, I would imagine, by then. So we'll get a better update on Jalen, what's going on there. Thankfully, he did not fracture his finger, according to a couple sources. No fractured finger, so just a dislocation. It'll be tough to throw the deep ball. Maybe not impossible, but going to be tough. And then A.J. Brown, I don't know. I go back and forth on it. Like, I feel like maybe no news is good news, because if it was like really serious, and again, like prayers for Sidney Brown, because I hated that, man. The ACL, MetLife Stadium is the absolute worst, as we know. I don't know why they don't just end it. It should already be done. Like, if I'm the Players Association, I'm like, bro, we aren't playing anymore. You just forfeit every time. Like, sorry, boycott it. But man, hopefully Sydney can recover. I would imagine it's probably not till November, December that he's back. But yeah, AJ again. I think maybe, hopefully it's positive, and then Smitty at least gets a little more time. You got a Monday game instead of a Saturday or Sunday, but then you're gonna probably pay for it the next time. If we win, you go to the next round. You could potentially play a team that's getting extra rest, or I mean, I guess if we go to San Francisco, then they've already got rest because they've had the bye. But let's see here. Get to some other comments. Oh, did I miss one? Sorry, Simo. Did I miss? Oh, I may be behind. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the comments as quick as I can. So, how do you feel about Tanner McKee over Mariota? I mean, I guess I like. I don't know. Mariota's fine. McKee's also was good in the preseason, but like, it doesn't really matter, does it? Jalen's the guy. Jalen's the guy. If he's out there, if he's healthy, or even if he's not healthy, he's a better option. Cheesesteak, what's up, man? The coaching that got us to the Super Bowl is gone. Pretty much. There's a couple. I guess the counter argument that I should throw out there, and this is going to go against what I was saying, so it kind of argues against myself here, but like, at the end of last season, Michael Clay, I think we all had, or most of us had, very similar feelings towards Michael. Bleeding Green Nation did a poll. I think it was like 2 days after the Super Bowl. And it was, again, I understand, like, hey, there's maybe a little bit of emotions of how the Super Bowl ended and, not playing very well. And we can remember one specific punt return that was extremely costly. But 92% of people said that they wanted Michael Clay gone. He obviously didn't leave, and then they extended him, either extended or gave him a raise. One of the two. But something crazy, because I was like, what? Why in the world are we doing this? Turned out to be a good thing. So that, I guess, is the argument, is like, hey, can they fix it internally? Can they just make enough changes over the offseason? But I don't know. I still feel like no. You've had so many weeks, and perhaps it's harder during the middle of the season because you've already implemented scheme, but it just feels so much tougher. Okay, Jono, I see your comment. I'm not going to read that one, though, bro. What the heck? Let's see here. Mason McRae, why do you live in Dallas as a Philly fan? Good question. I've answered this a couple times, but I'll share for people that are new or haven't heard the story before. Born and raised in Dallas. Family are Dallas Cowboys fans. But growing up, like, all we had was local channels. So, I'm watching this game. I'm 31. So for anybody wondering, I'm 31. And my entire life, like, I pretty much just remember Cowboys have been not great, So I was not old enough to remember anything of the Super Bowl, years, or the Super Bowl dominance or anything like that. But grew up watching them, and was, Dad saying they're this great team, they're this great dynasty, all this other stuff. And I honestly, like, I started just watching, those games, and every time they played the Eagles killed them. And so it was, I don't know what it was. I was 7 or something like that, but it was the pickle juice game that flipped it. That finally did. I was kind of already, I think, leaning that way. But I was like, this is crazy. I don't have to be a Cowboys fan. Who says I have to be a Cowboys fan? So I was like, I want to be an Eagles fan. Now, did that go over extremely well with family? I mean, they didn't say no, but they didn't say yes. They actually allowed me to put up a Brian Westbrook poster above my bed, though. So they enabled it enough. So I love my mom and dad. They're great. But yeah, I just kind of jumped on the bandwagon and was like, all right, I'm gonna be an Eagles fan. and stuck with them ever since. Also started playing Madden then too, so you want to play with a good team, and the Cowboys were not good. So, but yeah, McNabb, Trotter, Dawkins, the whole gang, man. I was like, yeah, I'm sold. We can't not be an Eagles fan. So, been to a couple Eagles games this year. Got to go to the NFC Championship game last year. Nothing like an Eagles game live at the Link, too. That's awesome. I was hoping to give away playoff tickets too to the Eagles, but nobody. Well, it's not impossible. I will if the Eagles somehow host a playoff game. If the Rams upset and the Packers upset, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned because I will give away playoff tickets. But we just need to be able to host first, so it's unlikely. But if it happens, we will for sure do that. Let's see here. Let's get to some of the other comments. Let's see. Nature Nate, you think it's all a scheme to where the Eagles planned all of this to then pull out their saved plays to win all playoffs? Yeah, no, that's the theory. I think that's the conspiracy theory out there. Did the Eagles somehow, crazily enough, script this out, scheme it, whatever you want to call it, to say like, yeah, let's do this really vanilla offense. Let's have a lackadaisical defense. Doesn't look like we know what we're doing. Putting players in bad spots, players getting frustrated, show the signs that we're very negative. There's some frustration in the locker room. Have we lost the locker room as a whole? But no, this is all part of the scheme here. We're gonna come out like gangbusters and just wreck people in the playoffs. I can appreciate the optimism, I guess, for people that believe that, but no chance. That's not happening. Although there's still possibility. Not that is true, but a possibility that you win a playoff game or two, or who knows. Here we go, Martin. What's up, man? From Germany, an Eagles fan. We are everywhere. Yeah. Again, I did some shout outs earlier, but if you haven't already, let me know where you're from. I'll try to get to those. Appreciate the support. We got, I think it was like, I don't know what it was during the live stream. We had like 8 different countries or something like that for people that had reached out. Depressed Eagles fan. I feel bad for Kelce. Stayed one more year. Stayed one more year just for this BS. I know. Me too. I feel terrible for him. It's like he put his heart and soul, and like I'm sure everybody's seen the documentary, but if you haven't, go watch it on Amazon. It'll make you cry. It made me cry. There's probably going to be a number 2 to it, I assume. I don't know officially if they announced that, but I'd imagine that he's being followed around this year as well. But the injuries and like what it took, he shared, like of what it takes to play every day, to get up, to go to practice, to do all this other stuff. And then also the ramifications, in the off season, right? Like whenever he's not playing, he's like, it's just brutal. But to go through all of this and this is where we're at. I'm like, gosh, that's just, I feel for him too. Maybe there's a way, somehow, some way for the guys to rally around him. Let's see. Replying to Martin from Virginia. Yep. Shout out to you guys that have been here from the beginning too. I appreciate it. It means more than y'all know. Yeah, Salita. Yes, like that's the time I grew up in. There you go. Yep, those were the good old days. That was whenever. Look, I remember watching those. You go to, everybody's done this. I'm sure you look up the big hits, NFL big hits. That's when football was violent. Nowadays, people just get fined and kicked out of game for those. It's probably a good thing, honestly. Like as much as it was enjoyable to go look at the top 10 hits, but like you think of how things have changed. Like it used to be glorified of like, oh my gosh, like what was the ESPN segment? Like you got jacked up. I remember waiting for that, but like they don't do those anymore because understandably so. I guess you live and you learn, but they finally figured out like, oh, hey, maybe that's not good for players' brains to just get destroyed on the field. But that was a different time, early 2000s. Nathaniel Bowden, what's up? He says the effort is also a coaching issue. Yeah, I can get behind that. It's a coaching issue, and it's also could it be a I'm not going to say that I think that the team is, I don't know. I've seen comments about it. Do I think that the team is quitting on the coaches? I do think it's a coaching issue as far as just putting them in spots and it's the motivation and being able to practice the right fundamentals, because they preach it, but like, are they legitimately practicing those fundamentals? It's hard to say. But are they kind of quitting on Sirianni? Or are they quitting on the coaches? That we'll probably never know. But sometimes it's hard to say when you look at it and you're like, man, they're not put in the right spots, but they're not making the right plays either. And the effort, I don't know, could be questioned. Certainly, if you go back and look at how the team was early on, and maybe is that a question on, I guess, more for the defensive side, but Desai versus Matt Patricia, because Desai wasn't incredible, but again, he was better than Patricia's been. That's no doubt. China says, the way that guy knocked Swift's lights out during the Niners game, that's what I need from the secondary. Yep, that is what we need. That was a clean hit, but decleated Swift. Thankfully, he was all right, by the way, too. But yeah, I thought to myself, I was like, have we seen a single hit like that all year? I'm trying to think. Like, what's the hardest hit that we've seen this year from an Eagles player on defense? What would be the hardest? I mean, like, I know Jalen Carter coming back and hitting Rashad White. That was pretty brutal, right? He's tracking back and gets the fumble, but like I don't know. Would that be? There's probably one that I'm forgetting. I think Josh Sweat in the Seattle game. He kind of got through around the edge, stopped the run really quick. That was a pretty big hit. What's the most violent hit? We need more of those for sure. We need the physicality. Let's see, Darius Young, as an Eagles fan, I'm betting 500 to 1,000 on the Bucs. Whoa, bro, good luck to you. That's a pretty significant bet. I mean, always gamble responsibly, but I guess if you have it, I not necessarily knocking taking the Bucs there, but that's a pretty hefty, sizable bet there. Philly Sports Hustle, you've been wrong only 6 times. LOL. I think I've been wrong more than that. No, I know I've been wrong more than that. Even within the betting, I have. Kevin Murray, I think I'm probably late. I'm trying to get to these comments, but Hargrave being soft, covered that a second ago. There's probably some truth to it. Is it a little bit overblown? Maybe if you're on a winning team, things always look better. But there's probably some truth to it. Yeah, because again, to my comment, like what's the most violent physical play that we've seen from the defense? I don't know. Like you look at the dudes on San Fran, like when they're flying around, it's just different. And I think it starts with the linebackers. Like I said, like Howie has devalued the linebacker, I think, to the point to where you're starting to see that it costs you. And I was hopeful. I'm not gonna lie, you guys know this because I had several videos on it, but I was hopeful that Nakobe Dean would live up to expectations. Hey, we're going to see a defense, and Howie obviously felt that way because it's like, well, hey, we're going to roll with a guy that we don't actually know if he's going to be a sure thing, but we hope. And Nakobe was okay, and then he got injured. And I say okay, I know there's some weaknesses, but I also don't know that he got a extended or long enough period without being injured to fully judge him based on his play. But then he gets injured, then he comes back, and then he gets injured really quickly after that too. So I don't know. He couldn't. couldn't stay on the field. And hopefully that's not a recurring issue, but it's cost you. You look at the Ravens. Why are the Ravens so good? There's lots of things. I'm not saying it's just the linebackers, but their linebackers, Roquan Swift, Patrick Queen, lights out. And the same thing for the 49ers, too. Fred Warner and why am I forgetting? Who's the other linebacker for the Niners? Bro, oh my gosh, why can't I not think of it? He's like taking a swipe at Dom. Let me look. Oh, Greenlaw. Duh. Okay. But yeah, let me look at the way that they play. Nathaniel Bowden, yep. Effort is directly related to who they're playing for. Yep. That it is. That is curious if they're gonna play for him, if they're gonna hang on for Sirianni. He needs the win, like I said earlier. Like this is it. This is important. He needs it. He is on the hot seat without question. Again, whether you feel like he's gonna get fired or not, I really don't think that you could truthfully, honestly say, like, no, he's not on the hot seat, even a little bit, because you're telling me if he goes out there and they lose 40-0 against the Bucs and the players clearly show, like, we don't want to play for you anymore, like, that's not enough to get him fired? I don't know. China says you're not riding the fence, Josh. You're just a Libra. I like that. I'm going to use that from now on. Not riding the fence. I'm just a Libra. That's great. KJ says we're going to be nationally televised / embarrassed. Yeah. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I am of the mindset, despite the fact that, Sully 7 disagrees, despite the fact that Sully 7 disagrees, saying fire Sirianni is an overreaction. I don't know if we're going to get embarrassed. I do feel like it's going to be a close game. Now, do I feel like we're going to actually win? I don't know. I'm a Libra. I'm a Libra, and I don't know yet. Let's see, Chris Adams, I'm more interested in Brian Johnson getting fired than anything. That's something that I can, definitely agree with. I think that's what more people would agree with, right? The coordinators. Let's talk about that a little bit too. With the coordinators, they have obviously some questions, some problems. I'm sorry, I'm checking to make sure wife is not let me know we're labor or anything. Sorry. But yeah, I think that coordinators, we need some changes, obviously. Again, with Brian Johnson, he's not the answer, and I think most people know that. But it's like, who do you want for the OC? I think for defensive coordinator, I feel like I have a few more answers, or at least possibilities that I've looked through. I mean, I know that you could say head coaches candidates, if you're going to go on that Sirianni side. But for defensive coordinator, for me, I think it's like Jesse Minter would be my favorite pick. Michigan defensive coordinator, and then I could also get behind Jim Leonhard. Like, for those that didn't catch it or watch this offseason whenever we started, but like that was one of my picks early on. Is like, hey, let's see if Jim Leonhard could be a possibility. He interviewed and then he didn't obviously get the job, but I think that he had like knee surgery, or he had something that he needed to get done, and so I was kind of wondering if it's like, hey, was that something that played a factor of is it an interview thing of, hey, man, let's just get that fixed, not maybe the right timing to have you here? Or was it his scheme? Was it his philosophy? Was he too aggressive? Like, I want a defensive coordinator who comes in and dictates the game to the offense. I don't want any more of this, like, defense, bend but don't break. We're going to kind of let you just get these plays down the field. It's going to be really easy. Make something happen. And again, even if it costs you some plays every once in a while, even if it costs you some chunk plays, like, I'm fine with that. But I'm so sick and tired of, every single time, doesn't matter what down and distance it is, the offense can dial up something over the middle of the field on Nicholas Morrow, on James Bradbury, and pick up a first down. And sadly, it's trickled into every phase of it because even the run defense has been so suspect. But I don't know. Offensive coordinator, that's another question too. I don't know. I haven't looked as much at the potential candidates still because we're thinking about who that's going to be. But Andrea Bland, what's up? Hey, she says Sidney Brown made a comment about their practices as well a week or two ago. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. He had said what was it, to the effect of like you play how you practice, something like that. Yeah, that's I mean, if a rookie's coming in, I get that sometimes college practices, like the Georgia guys, even you go back to the offseason, Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, we're saying these practices are easy compared to Georgia. We're going hard, physical, with pads, hitting each other, all this other stuff. Like, yeah, we're used to this. We can do this in the offseason. I think that says all you need to know. Again, you're probably not going to be to that extent, but you could read between the lines there. You got that going on. You got a Javon Hargrave comment now. You Sidney Brown comment a few weeks ago with the comments about the practices. Yeah, a little bit of an issue. Sully7 though says he compared them to the Warriors. That's a compliment. Haha. I mean, maybe. The problem is that the offense is not living up to the expectation. Although I don't follow the NBA super closely, but the Warriors are not. What is their? I'm going to look this up here because I don't think that from my very basic knowledge they're not doing so hot, right? Standings wise, 17-19, 12th in the West. Yeah, I don't know, bro. That's you got Steph Curry, but I think that might be spot on. Yeah, not so much. Once upon a time, perhaps, but yep. China says, didn't Sydney say the practices are too soft though? Yep. They got to be physical. And Neil says, yeah, they need to tackle. Absolutely do. Farmer J says, I have to ask, where did you get the Eagles light behind you? Big fan, by the way. Congrats on girl number 2. I have 2 daughters and a son, so I know the feeling, but where did you get the light again? Yeah, let me see if I can drop that in the chat here. I'll put it up there. I've gotten comments on it a lot during regular shows and live shows and everything else, so I finally just saved the link. So let me see if I can add this for the Eagles neon sign, which is, there you go. There you go. There is the link in the comments for the neon sign. And I'm going to get through to some of the other comments there, but let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to get to a lot of these, but I know that I am behind and trying to get to as many as I can. So, all right, here we go. Cool Rains, what's up? I'm from Australia. There you go. Yep, go Eagles. Cool Rains been here for a while. Shout out to you, man. It's been going for 10 months, and I don't know when it was officially, but it feels like you've been here for the full 10 months of having the channel. So, shout out to you. Canucks Braves, born and raised in Philly, started watching the Eagles from the 2008 season. I've cheered for them ever since, but damn, it's been a tough ride this year. That it has. It has been tough. Jose Delphia, what's your Tuesday prediction for Monday night's game? All right, I'll just go ahead and throw something out there. I'm riding the fence, but if I'm forced to pick the prediction right now, what I think is going to happen. Oh my gosh, I want to be a homer and I'm like the eternal optimist, but I feel like for once it may not happen. I'm going to go. Like the Bucs offense is struggling, but the Bucs defense has been lights out. And they blitz a ton, and we don't stop that, as everyone knows. So I think I got to go like Bucs. What what am I going to say here? Bucs like 24, Eagles 21. I know. I hate it. I hate saying that. And maybe I make it better. I jinxed it in the right way because I've jinxed it in the wrong way a lot of times, but I don't know. I hope so. Yeah, I got a couple other comments. I put the link in the comment section for the neon light. So feel free. It's pretty cool. I was curious if here I am bragging about my own stuff here, but I was curious if it was going to be like an actual, legit thing. And even whenever it shipped, I was skeptical, like, okay, is this thing going to work and look right? But I think it's nice. All right, let's see here. Go to some other comments. What would you think about bringing in Vrabel as a coordinator in some way? Yeah, that's not super surprising. Yes, Vrabel getting fired. I feel like he's gonna. I feel like he could end up in New England, right? Like if Bill Belichick gets let go, if this is the end of Belichick, it makes sense. Vrabel going to New England. I mean, I've been a fan of Vrabel, just like outside looking in. Like, seems like a decent guy. I don't know that he's had the full backing of his GM, despite Rand Carthen saying like, what was it? We've been in lockstep. He said that in his presser today. We've been in lockstep, never any issues, all this other stuff. I'm looking at Vrabel's reaction, going like, yeah, does he believe that? And again, who knows? I don't know officially, but possibly he does. What is it? Harold Landry. I think he dropped Harold Landry, one of their pass rushers, linebacker pass rusher, like 21%. I think Philly Film Room, Nick Waters, I believe, is the one who pointed that out. So go check out his stuff. He's got some good film breakdown for the Birds. But 21%, I think, was how much he dropped Landry back in coverage. So, you if there's frustrations on how much like Hassan Reddick is dropped back into coverage, I don't know. I don't know if he's the best fit necessarily for the Birds. I think that he does some good things, but again, it's like questioning: do you put your playmakers in the right spots? That's the part that I'm a little bit unsure of. I would lean towards going a different route. That's why I feel like Jesse Minter, again, you guys know I'm no expert on film breakdown, so I rely on other people. Shane Half, we had him on, what was it, like 3-4 days ago, so shout out to Shane. Really good breakdown. But I rely on a lot of other all 22 Fran Duffy experts on, breaking down the game and schemes. But just again, from what I've read, like that's probably where I would lean right now as far as the DC. Let's see. We got a question here from Vitali. Should we hire Ron Rivera as offensive coordinator? No. Out on Ron. Nope. Let's see. Fade into You says, was at last year's NFC Championship Game 2. It was a blast. Lost my voice for 3 days. Totally worth it. Yeah, that was a blast. That was freezing cold, though. That was much colder than I expected it to be. I'd literally, maybe I should have looked more at the forecast, or just thought about the fact that like, hey, over a 3.5 hour, 4 hour period, being out in the elements is going to get colder as time goes on. But I didn't pack enough, needless to say, so I was pretty cold. But it made it better because again, you're cheering, yelling, all this other stuff, so you're kind of warm from that. But that was without a doubt best like live sporting event I've ever been to. The vibes, again, people that have been to any Eagles game know that it's lit, but like NFC Championship hosting that doesn't get any better because obviously you're not going to be hosting a Super Bowl there. So I don't know. Unfortunately, probably, I guess, is it impossible? No, it's not impossible to host the NFC Championship. I was going to say, how would that happen? But yeah, if you have some upsets, there's a way to do that. But we can hope. All right, let's get to some other ones here too. Vastiflow, good to know Josh suffers as much as me dealing with cow turds. Yeah, that's a constant issue when you live in Dallas. You got to deal with it. You got to deal with the local radio, and there's lots of. it's fun whenever we win, obviously, because then you turn it on, you get to hear them, the meltdown and oh my gosh, Philly and all this stuff. Like the best thing to me, honestly, was after we won the Super Bowl in 2017 and the next morning I was so excited to hear Dallas radio because they have to talk about it, right? It's the Super Bowl, it's the NFL, it's all this other stuff. And oh my gosh, all of the hate and the excuses and it's rigged and Philly won and how much we hate them and all the others. That was the best. Carla, what's up? Lots of Eagles fan here in Dallas too. Awesome. Yeah, I'm finding that there's a lot more too, even whenever we went to the Dallas game, as bad as that one was. But yeah, I'm thinking about this. This may be a next year thing, but I think it'd be cool to organize an event. I know there's a couple different bars in Dallas, like Eagles bars, but organize some sort of event, like a local thing, and get together, hang out. That'd be really fun. Zach says, stop dropping Hassan and Sweat into coverage. Yes, I'm totally in agreement with that. That is something we do way too much as it is, especially considering the fact that we're not getting enough pressure to get sacks or do much to the quarterback. They got to change a lot of stuff, though. Let's see. Shout out to Josh, listening and bleeding green from New York. No, that is not my burner account. Supporting myself, but that's a good name. It's a good name, Josh. Appreciate you tuning in. I lived in New York, by the way, for about 4 months. Lived in Queens, little Queensboro Plaza action. Commuting over into, let's see, what was that? I think they took the 7 train to or the F. I kind of combo. Sometimes the 7, sometimes the F. Took that into Fox Sports, worked there at the Avenue of the Americas. But shout out to you. Depressed Eagles fan, playoff Haas needs to arrive. Yes, playoff Haas needs to arrive. Playoff Kenny needs to arrive. Playoff Jalen needs to arrive. Really, the whole playoff defense needs to arrive. There's lots of things that we need to happen. It's not impossible, as we've been saying, and I think all of us know there's still a chance. You're saying there's a chance. But man, it's tough sitting here because again, I know that we all say it every single week, but you don't have what was Jalen's comment that he says all the time is not meeting the standard, but I think he said there's always an opportunity, something to the effect of like there's always an opportunity to get better. There's always an opportunity, another day or something like that, right? There's more future. Well, it's only one more game. That's literally all you got in front of you. So we need to make some changes, and we actually need to see things get much bigger. Trent, what's up? Been an Eagles fan since 2005 from Ohio. Shout out to you. What's up, man? I have never been to Ohio. I have hired several people in Ohio. I was talking about being a recruiter, but I've never actually been. Yeah, sorry about the spamming comments here. I'm trying to get to them, but I'm slow coming down the comment section. So, and if you're making the same comment like 14 different times, you're gonna have to slow things down here. Ross Kramer, I don't feel bad for Kelce. I think he's part of the problem. He is part of the offensive line that can no longer block. Too many side gigs. I don't know. It's an interesting comment. I don't know how what was it? I think the Eagles offensive line actually got a decent grade, if you believe that. I know that everything PFF is like, take it with a grain of salt, but I think that they were like, what was it, like 1 or 2 based on grades? Or was that week 17? It's to me, it's been okay. I don't think, I mean, it could always be better, but that's the least of my concerns. They're just not making things easy. I think sometimes Jalen has enough time if he was a regular offensive scheme, regular quarterback, and they just make it too hard for him, and then all of a sudden he's got to sit there and take forever. And also, like, Jalen Bell's too early. I know that. Like, I'm not opposed to saying that Jalen deserves some blame because sometimes he could stay in the pocket and he just takes off and runs out, makes things more difficult. But it's all married together. The struggles are never one thing. It's all of it. Let's see. Jordy, what's up? It's Jordy Vleeland. I think I said that right the first time on the live stream. So I think that's correct again. But from Netherlands here, started following the Eagles after watching the All or Nothing Prime series. Go Birds. Oh, yeah. That was a good one. I've seen several of those. Not even just the Eagles ones, but what was the All or Nothing? All or Nothing Man City, All or Nothing, couple different ones that I've watched, but those are usually pretty good. I like those documentaries. Canucks, watching them Deshaun's rookie year. Let's see here. Philly Sports Hustle. I was hoping Eagles made to Vegas since I live in Vegas now. Yeah, that'd be a blast. Shout out to you though in Vegas. It's could happen. Could happen. Let's see. Let's see. You look like Nick Sirianni's kid. I just realized that. You think so? What does the comment section think? You think I look like Nick Sirianni's kid? A little bit old to be his kid. I'm 31. Bro got early. Got busy early. It's not the first time I've heard it though. Too. I can get these dark eye circles too. I'm probably gonna have a lot worse here soon. Expecting baby girl number 2. So if you guys see me looking even more like Sirianni, let's see. I can throw up a picture of Sirianni too. Someone did that. Where was it from his press conference? There you go. There we go. I may look even closer to that soon because baby girl number 2 coming. Maybe not get as much sleep. The dark eye circles you may get. I don't know. What do you think? Congrats on the new baby. I appreciate it. Not officially here yet, but yes, very, very soon. Could be any moment. Still no text from the wife, but assuming that, nothing crazy happens, it could be like another week or so, but assuming that nothing happens, definitely be streaming the game. You guys know we stream the games live with some play-by-play, watch party, hangout, whatever. So we've at least got one more for the playoff game, and then hopefully there's more beyond that, but we'll see. All right, I was a little slow here, so let me get to some of the comments here. Oh, the hardest hit. Yeah, that was Sidney Brown's hit. Got several of those. The Dak flip was crazy. Yep, I should have. I don't know why I didn't think about that. That to me, like it was a hard hit, but it didn't feel like it was as violent as much as it was just kind of like he jumps and then flips and stuff. But that's true. That's one of those. Oh yeah, here we go. GTFO. Jalen Carter sack on Stafford was violent. AF. Can't say that because it's a friendly show. Parents watch the show. But that was a violent hit. That's true. That might have been one of them. Yep, Justin says that might be one. That's true. I can get some of those. All right, let's see. We're gonna keep going here. I'm gonna get closer. I'm gonna get caught up. I've been trying to, but let's see. Got a super chat on this side here. I'd rather look at the Ravens than 49ers practices. That's fair. I mean, they took it to the Niners. All the Niners took it to us. But like, yeah, physicality wise, I'd get something there. Mentioned it earlier. I mean, you got to have. Are they lacking just, the pride of coming out and playing? Again, BG saying like there's going to be a difference like we've seen every single week or whatever it is. What do you guys think about Chris Long's comment? That reminded me actually bringing that up. So appreciate the shout out here. But let me see. I'll throw this up here too for you guys to see it. But I mean, he kind of called out the Eagles, called out the vets. Let's see. I'll throw this one. Yeah, this one from Chris Long here. So let me see if I can zoom in a little bit too so you can see it better. But yeah, said, I think the best thing that could have happened to them is being on the road and playing the Bucs. I think if this team played at home, they'd piss down their legs because of the pressure. The minute they get booed, go 3 and out. I'm not betting on them, but if they can run the ball, they have a shot. Again, that was Chris Long on the Green Light podcast. That's an interesting point too, and the fact that he's actually like, calling out some of it, because that's all of them, right? Like, he still has relationships, obviously, with the guys. He knows it. He lived it. He's been in Philly. He knows the vibes of a Super Bowl caliber team and one that's not. So, like, if you're calling it out and saying like, hey, they're not ready, they can't handle the pressure, I think that says it all. You're as much as I may hate it, I don't think there's any denial from what we've seen so far, but maybe it is a good thing. You go on the road, there's not as much pressure, at least from the fans, because you're not going to get that booing. You shock or surprise somebody. I don't know. That's an optimistic way possibly of looking at it, but I do agree with the last thing that he said there of you've got to run the ball to have a shot. That is without question. We've been saying it and seeing it every single week. Maybe they finally do that. We got a chance to see Rashad Penny and what he isn't. I'll admit I was wrong on Rashad Penny. I got to just say that. You guys know I was big on Rashad Penny, had lots of hype on him in the offseason, even in the beginning of the season, like, hey, let's get him out there. I hate to say it, but I think the dude's he's washed. He's definitely not near as close to what he was, former version of himself. And so pass blocking is atrocious, so we know that. But I think that there's not much there. So there's a reason that they weren't playing him. Understandably so, but they weren't saving him for the playoffs. That is for sure. But you got DeAndre Swift. He was sick, and even if he wasn't sick, maybe that's a blessing in disguise that he was sick, because he didn't have to play on MetLife Field and he didn't have to risk chance of injury. But I hope that he can. I hope that they use him, right, like that they'll stick to the ground game, run the football. Don't suspect or let Jalen get dealt with the blitz, because if that happens and you're trying to throw too much, we all know that's going to be a disaster. So run the football, have DeAndre Swift involved, get behind the O-line. Kenny Gainwell, hey, he looked good. He looked good. Like, not a lot of bright spots in the game against the Giants, I know that, but he did look pretty good. A version of playoff Kenny that we need to see more of. Let's see. Kenny Sachs on the hit. Nolan Smith hurt his own shoulder. Yep. That was a big hit too. I forgot about that one. The Giants game. All right, let's keep going here. Some of the comments here. Team Grim, Josh, I'm a believer, but I'm also on the fence. Yeah. It's just, I know it's not impossible, so I'm right there with you, but it is very tough. Let's see. Hoop Beast, on a scale of 1 to 10, do you think the Eagles can win on Monday? On a scale of 1 to 10, man, I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I said it earlier. I kind of think the Bucs are going to win, but on a scale of 1 to 10, like, I don't know exactly what those ratings are, but if like a 10 is a blowout victory and a 1 is a blowout loss, I'd probably say we're in the 3-4 range right now. So I'd go with a 4, like a slight Bucs victory. That's what I predicted, so I'd say that's about where we're at. B. John, what's the injury situation with Smith? I don't know. We'll get an official update officially. Official update officially tomorrow. I would assume Wednesday being usually a walkthrough, but I feel like he could have gone, because again, he was lobbying, the reports were, to play, or really would have liked to play, hadn't missed a game in his career. So I think he probably could have played against the Giants. So I'm not too concerned about Smitty. I think he'll be fine. Honestly, it'll be all right. It'll be good. DB talking, are the Wink rumors true? I don't know exactly which ones you're referring to. If you're referring to just like the potential of Wink being defensive coordinator, like, maybe. I mean, there's lots of names that get thrown around. I think everybody knows you get 10 different interviews, and some people are linked to some teams and some to others, vice versa. Like, does it change things as far as aggressiveness? Sure, he likes to blitz a ton, but like, that's not a name for me that I'm like, I don't know. I don't get excited about, but it would change things. It'd change the scheme quite a bit. You get a lot more blitzing, but he is, as far as the rumors of him resigning from New York, that's apparently true. Ryan, though. Ryan says, I would love to see Wink in Philly. All right. It would be a change. Let's see. Gelman, Baker going to go for 400 yards. Hopefully not. It's not a good sign if we're dealing with a Baker 400 yards. Jay Reeves, Eagles 40, Bucs 13. Hey, if we get that, that would be really, really nice. That would restore some faith, I think, in a lot of people. You know, a resounding win, first complete game in forever, and you just stomp them in Tampa. I don't know if that's going to happen. Make me feel a lot better, though. Chris Scott, hey, Josh. Berlin, New Jersey in the house. What's up? What's up, Chris? Appreciate you guys tuning in, seriously. Again, I've said this many times. You guys are a blessing. All the support, all the shout-outs, comments, everything. It does not go unnoticed. So I think you guys know that, but I may not be able to respond to all of it, and certainly here soon with expecting. But seriously, you guys are the best. China says, do you think we're going to keep Swift? I feel like we should, but I don't know if they will. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know either. Again, I'm struggling with any resolve, I guess, on a lot of like the situations with where the Eagles are. I hope that they do too. It's a question of like what is Howie gonna think about this situation, right? Because you have Kenny Gainwell, who I'm not looking at it off the top of my head here. I think it's like a 1 million. 1 million is the cap hit, something like that. So if you got Kenny Gainwell at that, do you say, hey, we'll stick with Kenny G and we'll draft a running back wherever, day 2, some late round running back, see if you can make that work? Or do you spend, and the market's not great for running back, sure, but do you spend and say, I would think like 3.5 million, something like that on Swift? I don't know. With what I've seen from Swift, I would be all right with it. But again, it's just a question of like, what does Howie do? How does he feel comfortable? And as we've seen, he just doesn't really value running back, nor does he value linebacker too much. Andrew Nathan Minter is going with Harbaugh. Probably. Yeah, I understand that. Probably. Would love to get him if that's possible. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if he's going. Because Minter, again, for people that don't know, Jesse Minter has NFL experience similarly with like Mike McDonald, because he's with the Ravens and then to Michigan and then back to the NFL for Mike McDonald. Minter, same deal. Ravens, Michigan, probably going to the NFL, I would assume. Ryan says Nick badly needs this win. Yep, I agree. I think he does. I think he's on the hot seat. I think he's coaching for his job to a certain extent. Depends on how much, if you win or even if it's a loss, if it's really, really close, maybe that saves him. Sorry, Ryan. I appreciate. Yes. How's this dude reading comments from 20 minutes ago? I will get better. I will get better about the comments. I'm trying to scroll through here. First time doing the live show, going through that, but I will, let's speed this up. I will get better about it. I appreciate the keeping me honest. Philly Sports Hustle, Josh, when you come to Vegas, would love to buy you a drink or two. I appreciate that. I will take you up on that. I will, if and when I'm going to Vegas, I will do a shout out. I'll hook up. That'd be a blast. Would love that. All right, we're going to go a little quicker here to get back to the comments, Brian. Again, I appreciate. Let me know, man. You guys keeping it real. Super chat here from Mike. Oh, did I lose Mike's super chat? Here we go. Here we go, Mike. Can you look at the camera and say, and that starts with me? You want me to say it for Nick Sirianni? You want me to do it like a Sirianni portion? We just got to be better, and that starts with me. Is there similarity there, or is that just you don't see it, you don't feel it? Maybe I was smiling too much. China says, I think we were all wrong on Penny, including Howie. Yeah, I think everybody was. All right, making sure still no text from the wife, so we're good. Let's see here. Family YouTube, I miss RPOs and yet none. Yeah, there's lots of things we need. We need lots of things from the offense and lots of things from the defense. Let's see. Don't know how to say that, but going down with the ship, everyone who lost faith are no longer fans. I mean, I disagree with that, but I can understand maybe some frustration with it. But like I've said it before. Like it's not necessarily yes, it's losing faith in some of the maybe players. Sure, like I don't mind saying Quez Watkins, and oh my gosh, you want to talk about Quez and his me. Like bro, your self awareness, like you're down by what 20 plus and you score a touchdown and you want to like celebrate and do some like hey talk, you guys are gonna talk, and then you post on Instagram like. I'm sorry, maybe that's too much, but I just the OGs know I can't stand Quez. I'm so out on Quez. I'm so frustrated with him. So, but no, like it's okay to question your players. It's okay to question your coaches. It's okay to question your team, and you could still totally be a fan. I don't believe in the whole like as soon as you're like oh no, this season's over, we're not gonna yeah, there's some emotions on it, but that doesn't mean that I'm saying like nope, I'm no longer an Eagles fan. Like I'm backing out, whatever. Like. There's a line there, sure, but I'm sorry, you can, to me anyway, you could be critical. You could be critical of your team. That doesn't mean that you're less of a fan. John Reese, making the Pro Bowl, just price Swift out of Philly next year. Yeah, it's probably not a great part there, but maybe. Let's see, Elaine, they fired Doug Peterson today. Did they? Oh gosh, how did I miss that? Did they? Hang on. I saw some changes. Now you're making me question here. Did I miss that? I don't think so. I think it's just a statement from Doug Peterson, issues with the coaching staff. Let's see. Since our season's end, I have made the difficult decision to relieve several members of the coaching staff on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball of their duties. I want to thank them. Yeah. So, no, I don't think they fired Doug. He was, understandably like not a great season, but just changing the coordinator situation, shaking things up naturally. If you lose 5 of your last 6 games, like the Jaguars did and like we did, there's probably going to be some changes on the staff. That's where I'm kind of feeling like, again, I think that Sirianni's on the hot seat because of the optics and how badly it was down the stretch. But if you have a decent showing against the Bucs, maybe you're still around. The coordinators for sure know that there's no way that they can be confident. I don't think. In my mind, there's no way. How could you be confident? After the season that we've had, you sit there and you go like, yeah, I probably got my job. I'd be updating the resume so fast, get ready to find something. Let's see. Zach Barter says, who's your ideal OC and DC picks, bro? My DC, again, DC, I would say Jesse Minter. I think Ryan was maybe the one, or can't remember who it was, but somebody's pointing out, he's probably going to go with Harbaugh. I would imagine that happens, but if I could pick, probably go with Jesse Minter. OC, I don't know. Honestly, I haven't looked at it enough. I need to, but that's maybe a cop-out, but I don't want to just give you a random name that I just have heard that other people are into or that sounds good. So I don't know for sure yet on OC. But DC, without a question, I would go Jesse Minter, and then if not Jesse, then probably Jim Leonard would be another pick that I would like. They both interviewed. They both spoke to the Eagles. But we'll see. Oh, this one here. Sayar, not sure if I say the first names correctly. Sayar, love you. Hate Eagles right now. Appreciate that. I can understand the frustration, bro. Let's see. Family YouTube. The best answer given was Dallas Goedert when they clinched and stopped trying. LOL. Yeah, but it's if you believe that. I don't think they did. I really don't think they stopped trying. I think it's going to be, it was just coaches just continue to get worse, I guess. I don't know. And follow up from the I hate the Eagles comment. Cyrus says, I love the Eagles, but to be honest, I've lost all hope. There you go. That's I'm not quite there, but I'm very close. The hope is dwindling, and there's lots of frustration naturally. Philly Sports Hustle will bring back Denard Wilson as the DC. There's another name I like, but that's not going to happen. In my opinion, if I'm Denard, I'm like, sorry, like y'all missed the boat. I wanted it. I interviewed. There was a chance. You went with Desai, and Denard Wilson didn't want to stick around. So on to greener pastures, I guess, as they say with Baltimore. He might look at good right now, chances of a Super Bowl, so he might actually get one there. But yeah, if I'm Denard Wilson, I don't know that I'd come back, unless unless you clean house altogether. I don't know. There's what was the comment too of, let me find that, because didn't Denard Wilson and Sirianni were at odds or something? Let's see, what was that? There was something to that effect. Sirianni was just saying, Denard Wilson's a great football coach. I want to make sure that I get this right. Yeah, okay, so it was initially reported as let me see if I can throw this up here. Yeah, so right here. All right. So yeah, it was initially reported to the two sides were mutually parting ways. That's right. Okay, that's what it was. Remember there's something there. It initially came out that they're like saying, "Hey, all good. We're letting him go. He wants to leave. We're mutual there." And then apparently, the report is that that Denard Wilson was fired. Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni fired popular and productive defensive backs coach Denard Wilson on Saturday. 2 league sources confirmed. Sirianni passed over Wilson in his exhaustive search to replace Gannon and hired Seattle Seahawks defensive assistant Sean Desai instead. The Eagles are trying to paint this as an amicable split. Untrue, according to sources. Wilson wanted to stay. Well, okay, that's... I guess that is Marcus Hayes now that I'm looking at that. So take that what you will if you believe that sort of thing. That's the hard part, like in this day and age is like, what's the truth? Who actually has the full story, the big picture? So maybe but if it's, I guess it's either side really. Like if it was Denard Wilson wanted to stay, but then Sirianni fired him, then heck no, I'm not coming back unless Sirianni leaves. And then maybe Denard Wilson returns. Or if it was a mutual decision, then that's just kind of weird. So, I don't know. Super chat here. Christian Navarez, what's up? Let's see. Says, hey, Josh, have you and Thomas ever thought about collabing with Hunter? Bro, I'm going to be honest. I don't actually Maybe I should know that name. Who is that? Is it Hunter Broads? Brody's? I'm out myself here. I don't even know. Is he the? What is he? What is he? Does he? Wasn't he on the Fanatic, or was he? I vaguely remember. Is it Brody? Hunter Brody? Because I was saying Broads. I don't know that. Either way, we have not yet, but like, hey, I'm always open to more collaboration. So I'm going to try to do that more often too here, just like getting people on, hanging out, talking birds. But yeah, we'll might as well. I'm open to it. I've been trying to get to, you guys have probably seen, but getting more people as far as, areas of my blind spots, because I have no problem telling you guys, and you know this, like I'm not a film expert. I don't know the analytics of it, and I'm not going to be pretending to either. So get some other guys that know. But we've had Outside the Birds. He's going to have incredible draft coverage, has awesome stuff. We'll have that from the Senior Bowl. Same deal from Shane Half. Had him on breaking down some stuff. Maybe get some other guys on, but always open to it. Thomas, I love you, Josh. Appreciate that. Love you too. Agent 0025. I'd love for Dallas to be one and done. Yes, absolutely. Rafi the Goat, he looked tired. Yeah, a little bit. Been not as much sleep recently, and it's probably going to be less the longer that we go, as soon as we have baby girl. But talking about Quez, China Quez is always betting on himself because he isn't blocking, or yes, I know Quez's other receivers. I know he is so frustrating. Drew, Quez is trying for a contract somewhere. Maybe he says Quez to the Panthers. Somewhere else, bro. Get just not here. What's up, Edwin? There you go. Born and raised in Philly, retired living in PR. He says, was that Puerto Rico? Eagle fan forever. Shout out to you. That's it right there, Wesley. How could you stop trying with a 1 seed on the line? That's totally it. I don't buy anything that Dallas Goedert's saying. Love DG, but you don't stop trying, even if you clinch playoffs. That's just idiotic in my opinion. But that's neither here nor there, because we're at the point of nothing's changing now. So love when you have Anthony on. Appreciate that. Yep. We love Anthony's got some great content, some incredible knowledge too, for a guy that does that as like a side hobby. OutsideTheBirds.com. Go check him out. There you go. Okay, it's Broads. Brodies. Still don't know. Dirk, thanks for the Eagles content. Appreciate that. You're welcome. Every Canucks Briggs, they have a lot of deep touchdowns last year. That would give them big leads or much needed points. That's true. Talking about the offense and just the struggles, it may change though, or it's probably gonna have to change. You got Jalen's finger dislocation, not gonna have as strong of a grip, so you're not gonna be able to throw it as effectively deep. So maybe that helps in a way because you're gonna get a lot of blitzes. I can guarantee you. The Bucs are third highest blitz rate in the NFL. So Monday night, get prepared if you didn't already know that the blitzes are coming. hopefully you would think that Sirianni and Brian Johnson know that and are scheming for it, and you have some hot routes and answers for the blitz, but we haven't seen it for, the entire season, 18 weeks. So maybe in a way, though, with this injury, you do change some things. I was talking about that earlier, but we'll see. Feel free, though, all you guys come hang out. I'm going to be streaming during the game, and always have a good time as we can. The last several weeks have not been near as fun, obviously, but still have a blast. I think it's awesome. Try to read as many comments, hang out, support everything else, but we will see. Mary's, when do we get Ertz back? That's the weirdest thing to me, isn't it? Like, we heard about Ertz. He's looking for a playoff contender. Cardinals let him go. And nothing. Like, his family even was saying would love to be back in Philly, and just never hearing anything else about that, any other development. I don't know. I don't know that he changes things too much, but like now with the injuries to AJ, hopefully he's going to be all right. Bomber T says AJ Brown's status, no one knows officially. I feel like a no news is good news potentially. Like, I feel like if it was a serious, like, out for season, something would have leaked by now. Someone, whether it's Schefter, Rappaport, whoever, is gonna leak that. So I don't think it's to that extent. Hopefully I'm right. But we don't know officially. So should tomorrow, I believe, be the first official injury report, and then we'll know more about AJ. But it's likely that he escaped a significant injury. That was the initial reports there. So we'll see. Have more tomorrow with the shows, and also going to be doing a live show tomorrow too. So if you want to hang out with us again, Thomas Mott and I will be back together at 7:30 Eastern. So feel free to swing by. Will Kelly says, run the ball. Yes, run the football. Have to against Tampa. Have to. Let's see. Got a super chat here from Alexander Harris. For as awful as the seasons went, it's always a relief to watch your show. Appreciate you and all you do for Eagles football and fans. I appreciate that. That means a lot. Definitely try to, again, I maybe it can get a little bit, I don't know, a little repetitive, because I do try to be optimistic with it. I try to be positive, but it took it out of me after just so many weeks of saying we're going to turn things around. They're saying we're changing stuff. It's going to get better. We're going to improve. Just haven't had basically anything. So I don't know. I remain hopeful, as you guys know, but no, appreciate the support. As Salim says, you sound depressed. LOL. Yeah, there's not as much hope. So still believe that, though. Okay, I assumed the PR. Puerto Rico. There you go. Shout out to you. All right, I'm going to wrap this up here in just a second. So any last second questions or thoughts, or anybody else, I'll get those up there, but going to break this here in a second because I got to help put the little one to bed and then also make sure wife's still doing good. What's up? Here we go. Thomas. What's up, Josh? What's up, bro? Live show tomorrow. Let's go. Let's get it. Again, tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern. We will be live breaking down all the news, injury updates, official injury updates, as well as probably debating what the Eagles should do with head coach, how much is he on the hot seat, everything else. But appreciate the love and support. We will definitely be there. Caboose says rare Mott appearance. I don't exactly know what that means, but Cool Reigns, we should trade for Jalen Johnson from the Bears. Probably. I mean, anything that gets better, but there's so many things. We'll get into it. I feel like I'm kind of like in the in between space right now of like I'm trying to not get too far ahead and think all about like the future and coordinators, which granted we've talked a lot about here, but it's like I there's players, there's potential additions. What do you do with the roster? But then at the same time, you're feeling like, okay, what are we going to do in the present, in the moment, right? Like, is there a chance that we could do it for the playoffs? I almost want to like not go so far to that side, but I agree. You could certainly help yourself with a lot of things in the roster. Matt Flores, let's be real. If you're buying into the we're losing on purpose, you're setting yourself up for the most disappointing night of your life. That is so true. So true. I don't know that. I think the vast majority is not doing that. I highly doubt that there's like a legit, even a decent amount of a minority that's believing that. It's a select few, but we have seen it out there. So I don't know. You can't think that after this long. The division was in your grasp. Number 1 seed you're still playing for. Then even the number 2 seed after that fell through. I'm not buying the fact that you're going like, nah, whatever. We'll take whatever spot we get in the playoffs and just shut it down for that long. That's ridiculous. Cheesesteak Josh, good luck with the new baby. Go Birds. Go Birds. I appreciate that. Yep, any day now. Any day. FP Bulldogs, do you see Belichick coming to Philly if Nick leaves? No, I don't. For a couple different reasons. I don't want him to begin with, but also the fact that Howie and, mainly Howie, but also Lurie seem to want to have probably some control. It just doesn't feel like that would be a situation that plays well. But I want something really different anyway. So, Vast to Flow, they're doing it for the story, Josh. Oh, maybe. Savage. Eagles are playing possum. I think you missed the spelling on that, actually. I think there's a silent O. But I get the reference. Yeah, Drew, playing possum in theory is bogus. Yeah, I agree. Cheesesteak here. By the way, Josh, does the baby have a name yet? Jordan. I know there were several different questions, and then I kind of spilled the beans too early, and then I backed away on that of talking too much. But yes, we do have a official name, and it is Charlotte, actually. So Charlotte June Davis. But that's what we went with. I was lobbying for, Jordan was a possibility. I was kind of lobbying for like Kelce, and spelled as obviously Jason Kelce. That's a given. And for those that don't know, my firstborn daughter, a 2-year-old, her name's Georgia. So it makes sense, right, with the Philly dogs and everything. But that was somewhat unintentional. But went with Charlotte, and it was not a fully going geographical, but now it feels and seems that way. So anyway, that's what we're going with. Appreciate that, Drew. That's a nice name. I appreciate it. Same to Cool Rains. All right. I think I'm gonna wrap it up. We go for a couple hours here, so appreciate the hangout. Always fun to talk birds again. I'll be doing this more often as schedule and life is going to change very soon for me. So probably a few more live shows and maybe less actual long form shows, but still going to try to crank out the content. So you guys know what it is. But appreciate it always. And until next time, we'll see you guys. Go Birds.